Once a week in Destiny 2, an NPC named Xur makes his way to one of the game's planets with a bag full of exotics to sell to Guardians for legendary shards. He's like a strange, less charitable version of Santa Claus, and he's back again, this time in the EDZ with 3 exotic armor pieces and a weapon. For today's video, we're going to break down the 3 exotic armor pieces Xur is selling: the Meccan Ears trick sleeves for the Hunter, the Mark 44 stand-asides for the Titan, and the Stag for the Warlock. Let's get started. First up, the Meccan Ears trick sleeves for the Hunter are one of the worst exotics in the game. They provide great benefits, but maximizing the potential of this item is nearly impossible. Its exotic perk, spring-loaded mounting, increases sidearm ready and reload speed, and while you're critically wounded, swapping to a sidearm increases its damage. The damage buff you receive while critically wounded is significant, but in general, if you're critically wounded, you want to get out of combat, not swap to your pistol and try to finish off the hordes of bad guys that are shooting at you. As much as we'd all like to infuse a little bit of John Wick with our Destiny 2 gameplay, the playstyle the trick sleeves demand in order to make use of the exotic perk's damage buff isn't practical in any of the game's content. Even with mods like Protective Light and other resistances, it's just not worth it. Stay safe, get to cover, and don't use the trick sleeves. For Titans, the Mark 44 stand-asides are strong, but they also require support from a good build to feel truly worthwhile. The exotic perk is called Seriously, watch out. It grants you an overshield while you're sprinting with full health, while you have either Seismic Strike, Hammer Strike, or Shield Bash available. Hits with these abilities restore 50% of their cooldown. That kind of cooldown reduction is fantastic. If you imagine a build with tier 10 strength reducing your base melee ability cooldown to 41 seconds, the Mark 44 stand-asides will reduce that to 20 seconds. To make things even crazier, you can stack the Seriously, watch out perk with the Charged with Light mod heavy-handed. Using your melee ability while charged will refund 50% of your melee ability cooldown. With those two things stacked together, you'll be able to do crazy stuff like this. Unlike with the Meccan Ears trick sleeves, we have a simple effect that can be turned into something incredible with the right build. Last, we've got one of my personal favorite Warlock exotics, the Stag. Most people I've seen talk about bad Warlock exotics are quick to mention this one, but that's most likely because they've never tried to build around it. Its exotic perk, Dearly Departed, grants a chunk of Rift energy when you're critically wounded, and if you die, a Rift is placed on your death location. If you have tier 10 recovery, your Rift cooldown is 41 seconds. A single proc of Dearly Departed will cut that down significantly. Having a constant flow of cooldown reduction on your Rift from taking damage, something that's completely unavoidable, is nice. By plopping them down, you'll be providing yourself and your teammates with a means to challenge enemies instead of hiding in cover while they wait for their health to come back. You can also use mods like Bomber or Outreach to add more offense to your build. Bomber and Outreach reduce the cooldown of your grenade or melee respectively when you activate your Rift, and with the Stag equipped, you'll be using your Rift a lot. So this exotic doesn't have a lot of power on its own, but with the right setup, you can gear your Guardian towards being the ultimate support or a hybrid damage dealer and healer. And there we go, that's going to do it for the exotic showcase for Xur for the week of December 27th, 2019. Unfortunately, Hunters got the short end of the stick this week because the Meccan Ears trick sleeves are terrible, but Titans and Warlocks have some very powerful exotics on display. The Mark 44 stand-asides, when paired with the heavy-handed Charged with Light mod, yield some pretty impressive results. It's very fun and very effective. And for the Warlock, the Stag is a very reserved exotic. It just gives you more access to your Healing Rift, but the Healing Rift is an invaluable resource, especially when you up that difficulty to 950 or 980. So with all of that said, we're going to wrap things up here, but don't worry, there's plenty more Destiny 2 content coming in the future. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to support the channel more than you already do just by watching, liking, subscribing, and commenting, you can head over to patreon.com/iBluairJgR to become a patron. As always, the name of the game is Destiny 2, the name of the channel is iBluairJgR. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.